Welcome everyone. I hope you join with me in this tutorial in creating this beautiful picture of Lady Floral. Okay guys, collect your scrappy blotchy paper if you've got any. You know, the stuff that we use to just mix paint colours on, or the sheets that we have between our pages when we're working. Grab them if you have any. If you don't, you can just grab some kind of other thin paper. I've used this one, very thin, and it works a treat. Well guys, this is my first attempt. This was never meant to be perfect. This was all about me relaxing and just having some fun. So I got that blotchy paper and I tore it all up. I decoupaged it down. I came in with some textures, black fine liners, and I just gave it some detail. I also put in some leaves with the acrylic paint and again more detail on top. As far as a face goes, not very good. I made some more blotchy paper and then I had another attempt. And this time I was really pleased with how the flowers turned out, not necessarily her face, because again, watercolours I'm not that great with. But I loved how the flowers, the colour in the flowers were like blended, and it just turned out so pretty. Alright, so make yourself some paper, blotchy paper, if you don't have any. Just use some thin stuff, baking paper, whatever, and put some colour down. Try not to use too much green. Now for the scary part, you have to draw a face. If you can't, there's plenty of tutorials on YouTube, or just simply trace one out. Remember guys, you just need the face features. This doesn't have to be perfect. Mine is far from perfect, so just simply draw one. Okay, we're getting straight into it. So just tear it up, guys. Tear it up around the beautiful colours that you have. Try and keep the green to a minimal. Just keep a little bit in there. Also, just place them down. Tear them if you need to tear them to make them smaller. Just move them around. This time is just for experimenting and to get the composition to look right. This, believe you me, is time consuming. Okay, when you've done that, grab your matte gel medium. You might have Mod Podge or a Decoupage paste. Just make sure that it's matte. Rightio, we can glue the paper down, but before you do, please do not get the glue on her face, because if you do, this will disperse the watercolour paint when we're painting her face. So yeah, very important point. And now we're going to draw simple flowers. We're not after detail, we're just putting down shapes. grab some acrylic brushes and also grab some acrylic paints, and the colours are phthalo green, yellow and white. Mix up a medium shade of green and block in your leaves with this colour. And when you've done that, dry them and then come in with the next colour. Okay, now mix a darker green and just add touches of it. Don't block the whole leaf in. This is to give it an extra shade and depth. Now we're going to mix a lighter shade of green, and this is to give highlights to your leaves. Again, don't block your whole leaf in with this colour. Well, we've just about finished our leaves. We're just adding the last colour, and that is phthalo green. It's the darkest green. And this you can just do touches of it just to give it more shade and depth. Okay, we are up to painting her face. Now I have used Permanent Rose, Raw Umber, Van Dyke Brown and a little bit of Yellow Ochre number 1. I've watered it down quite a lot because I only wanted the first coat to be very, very light. And I'm quite happy with how this first coat turned out. And then I dry this one and then I add a second coat of the same colour just to make it that bit darker and look a bit more shaded. Okay, we are now up to detailing the flowers and the leaves. So you will need fine liners for this. I'm using a 1.0 and a 0.3. So I have a thick one and a thin one. I'll go around the flowers and I'll add lines around them. I'll add little centers to them, some bigger, some smaller. And I'll just add little lines at the tips of the petals just to add detail. So really this is up to you, it's a personal preference. Now just outline your leaves and then go and add details to them. Now we are at the stage where we can fill in the spaces. So I have got 2 different kinds of pink. I've got a deep pink and then I've got that beautiful poppy neon colour pink, and I've also got some white gesso there. So what I'm starting with is just dotting and blotching in the darker pink all around and bringing it out over the white space. I've dried that and now I'm going in with the neon. Okay, I've dried the pink and now I'm going in with the white. Okay, now I've added in a bit of yellow. I found that this just needed another little pop of colour. Okay guys, I'm cheating a bit here. I'm using coloured charcoal pencils to shade the face. I am also using a paper stump. So I start off with just putting in a brown. I've got a dark brown here and I use a reddy brown. And I just add a touch of it in places on her eye and I use the stump to blend it out. I didn't want to add any more colour really to her face except for some shading. So I thought, you know, the picture has plenty of colour already and I just wanted to gently just go very softly to start with in shading on her face. Okay guys, I grab a little bit of paper and I blotch some of the charcoal pencil out on it and then I use the stump. The reason I did this is because I was finding that the charcoal pencils were just that little bit too harsh on the paper and I didn't want to damage it, so this is another option. Now I'm having a look at my picture and I'm liking how soft her face features are. I'm just giving some detail to the iris and then we'll move on to the background. Well guys, we are on the home run. So pick a colour. I'm using peacock blue and I'm just whacking that water and colour down. I'm not fussing, I'm just covering the whole background. Guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please leave us a comment, give us a thumbs up, or if you are new and you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And yeah, I'd really love to hear from you guys. So the last thing is you have to sign your work. All right, bless you. Thank you. Bye.